Fun is always, as Bruce Cassidy says, whatever that means, when talking about Tomas Hertl scoring the game-winning goal yesterday, the VGK comeback win, as Chris says up there on the slate. It was epic. We'll talk about that when we return right here on Locked On Golden Knights.
You're Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
The look on your face right there.
Whoa,
Look on your face.
New music going. It must be.
Well, no, I talked about this. We had it for Saturday's show. That was the first time it came through. We got that. We got the extra budget because of Mark Stone being on LTIR. We have extra money to spend because Stone was on LTIR. So they put some money into the intro. So as you were, Tony.
Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thanks for making us your first listen. As you just saw here, if you're watching on YouTube, your team every day in the new, wow, that music. So that's the music that Chris picked out. And of course, please subscribe to our Locked On Golden Knights.
I didn't respond to the email. I got to be honest with you. Well, that was default.
So we got the last music in the cookie jar, whatever was in there. Yeah. Okay. VGK, the 4-3 overtime win against Colorado yesterday. So stinking rigged at the Fortress. And of course, we're brought to you by Sleeper today. Download the Sleeper app. Get up to $100 match on your first deposit. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. 4-3 VGK as they beat a tired Colorado Avalanche team on the Tomas Hertl goal with 1:23 into the overtime. As easy as 1-2-3, if you get that for Hertl. He scores on the deflection of the Jack Eichel shot. Now, on the previous stop there in that contest, Alexander Georgiev also stopped a deflection, right? Right there, back-to-back sequence. And that one went into the glove of Georgiev, who was really tired because he played the day before. And then, what they're having now out of Hertl is that net front presence. We've talked about this, and that's something that was missing from VGK. Can I use this term arsenal from the VGK arsenal? Or am I going to start selling shirts and stuff there? So the second power play for VGK of the afternoon, and the Vegas Golden Knights power play has really stepped up with the addition of Hertl. VGK Communications yesterday tweeting out that it was the sixth goal with the man advantage for VGK since Hertl's insertion into the lineup. So they've got the guy now. They were missing that bumper position, right? Since Stone went out, that's really made a huge difference. You can't see around this guy. He's big. He's imposing. He laughs at goalies.
Can't
he
see
smiles
you
at
either.
everyone.
Well, there we go. Okay.
He smiles at everyone. Okay, talk about Hertl.
No, I mean,
and what Hertl, the heck what is fun as always? Fun as always.
I'm not sure. I feel like there was a meaning behind
Inside
that
joke?
Because he was trying to cue up the media to kind of laugh, and I feel like the media didn't even react to that, so I'm not sure.
And that's crazy because they laugh at all of his stinking jokes, too.
I mean, it's in the contract. If you're media, you laugh when the coach makes a joke. I guess Hertl, you mentioned that smile and stuff. I got a feeling when the dust settles, and again, we're a long way away from this, but Hertl's going to go down as far as the likability factor, very similar to Marc Andre Fleury. Dude just seems to smile at every interaction, seems incredibly positive. And it's just a reminder that VGK doesn't just target players based on their talents and their skill set, but the right locker room pieces as well. And I think as good as Hertl's going to be on the ice, which I think is going to be pretty good, I think he's going to be even better off the ice, which is never a bad thing. You mentioned the bumper position and screening in front of the net. It's how many times have we talked about this, right? The Golden Knights used to have a much more movements on their power play where they're hoping the defense would get out of position. You catch a seam pass and like a one-timer from one of the backsides or something, or from one of the circles or something like that. Now they're just saying, screw it, 3 passes and, let Hertl screen the goalie and see what happens. And that definitely seems to be a little more for the recipe for success. And then kind of like the NFL, like a play action pass, right? If the defending team is always assuming that the goal Knights are just going to start shooting from the point and hopefully Hurdle's going to screen the goalie or get a deflection. That's going to open up passes so the Golden Knights can go to those seam cross ice passes and stuff. So it's all good, and the light is starting to go on right now. As I wrote about, we're writing again, Tony. We're writing again for Inside the Rink. The light is starting to go on.
Overreaction, man.
Maybe
they beat a team that was a non-playoff team in Minnesota. Okay, and they were at the end of the road.
Game. I don't care about that game.
Okay, they come back and they beat Colorado, and you knew in the third period they were just done. Okay, cartoon characters or not, they were done because they played a stinking back-to-back this late in the season. It's stupid. It's just stupidity. William Karlsson, 2 goals on the season. Was Cassidy blaming Peter DeBoer in the post-game presser for Vegas Bjorn's struggles a season ago?
What do you say about I listened to the post-game presser,
I don't know.
But I didn't catch
He said, I don't know, whatever the case was, like last year, as a result of like a couple of years ago. And I don't know what happened there, and I don't know what happened, but he lacked confidence. He must have lost a lot of confidence. So they're thinking, blaming Pete DeBoer. Remember, this was the coach killer. Lars killed the coach.
I mean, the one thing I would say is
I lacked creativity because of the coach. Remember that?
Somewhat, I do remember that. We talked about
BLTs with the owner.
The one thing I'll say is different players
because of that.
Different players strive under different systems, and one of the things I did write about coming into last year's offseason was a player who might have the most to gain from the new coaching regime was William Karlsson. I mean, I know Tony's not going to want to acknowledge it, but Karlsson has put up some big points in the first 2 seasons with the Golden Knights, and then the DeBoer era. I mean, maybe there's a coincidence, maybe there's not, but those were his 3 lowest point outputs, and then he plays all 82 games last year, gets 53 points, 59 points, 68 games, and 30 goals again. So is it a blame under Pete DeBoer? No, it's a different system, and just this system is working for William Karlsson as a third-line 30-goal scoring center. Those don't just fall out of the tree. I mean, that's it's pretty unique and pretty bizarre, and I got a feeling they might be adding Mark Stone to that line in about 5 days. So we'll see how that changes stuff.
Okay. Jared Bednar said that you cannot take dumb penalties in a tight game, and he was absolutely correct because the power play, into the OT.
Golden Knights were good at that too, but yeah.
Yeah. And then Bruce Cassidy is sticking with Pavel Dorofeev. Said the other day that his only concern was his physicality, how he's going to last in the playoffs when there's a lot of banging, whatever. So he's been playing on the wing with Hurdle. They are developing chemistry there. No Amadio yesterday. And why is Cotter still in the lineup? Let's talk about the lineup for VGK right now.
So Mantha left the game. I didn't see what happened. I just saw the tweets circulating. Mantha went down the tunnel, so that created obviously a mismatch as far as the forward lines and stuff. Ivan Barbashev's goal came when he was on the 4th line of all things. So there you go. Paul Cotter. I mean, I don't know what's up with Cotter. I mean, I do know what's up with Cotter. He's not.
BLTs with Foley, maybe.
But like Cotter, he does a lot of things well out there. He hits. He's physical. He's engaged in the game, and it also seems like there's a different side of him out there. He's not out there looking for trouble, so to speak. And what I mean when I say that is, I noticed a couple times over the last 2 or 3 games where he's skating away and someone just kind of gives him a little slash behind the play, or they give him a little shove, stuff like that. He's doing a good job of not letting people get inside of his head so he doesn't take a dumb retaliatory penalty or something like that. So that's the positive about Paul Cotter. He seemed lost out there when he was on that top line with Eichel and Marchessault, which he spent a lot of time in the second and third period of yesterday's game. It just takes time for some, or we talked about systems and stuff. Maybe Paul Cotter needs to go play for Pete DeBoer. Maybe he'll be a 30-goal scorer down in Dallas.
Did you realize yesterday's game was in the NHL history books? It was the 26th time that a team came back from 3 goals or more in a contest this season. That's a record in the NHL. Why so many comebacks here? That's crazy,
3
right?
goals. Used to be a 2-goal lead was a really tough hill to climb. Now it's the 3-goal lead is the toughest lead to hold on to, so to speak. And why? I don't know. I mean, it's that difference of teams taking their foot off the gas and just trying to play defense. It's the mental mindset of it's a 3-goal lead. This game is over. And, yesterday you mentioned many times that the Avalanche were on the backside of a back-to-back when they had an absolute defensive failure. And you kind of felt that maybe that could happen in this game. The Golden Knights were kind of starting to find their game in the second period. And then Cale Makar just took an absolute terrible angle on the Barbashev goal. Cale Makar, one of the smartest defensemen in the game. And Makar just had an absolute L gaff almost as he followed Barbashev. Speaking of that, Adin Hill tried. Adin Hill tried to have a terrible
leg gaff. A leg gaff.
Leg gaff.
It was leg gaff.
Gaff, the gaff, the whatever.
I will tell you. We'll give your guy Lars some credit though. He does draw a lot of penalties, man. He draws a lot. You know why? Because he's the LeBron of hockey. He just flops.
Get out of here. He does not flop. He does not flop. Get out of here, Tony.
Coming up next.
Wait, no, hold on. I got to delay this for a second.
Shut up, Tony.
Now go ahead.
Coming up next. Marc Andre Fleury was lit up. We'll talk about Mark Stone's return to skating and all that coming up next. Do we have any more surprises with music and stuff, Mr. Choreographer?
I'm aware of, but you never know.
Okay, that's coming your way next right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and to level it up to peak performance. From superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you are into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you will always find exactly what you are looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time with your money back, because with eBay Motors, you are burning rubber and not cash. With all the parts you need, all the prices you want, it is easy to turn your car into the most valuable player and to bring home the win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit, only available to U.S. customers. Back on this edition of Locked On Golden Knights, Tony Cardasco and Chris Golick from Las Vegas. Thank you so much for making us your first listen. We appreciate you doing so. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. And the thing about our YouTube channel and our broadcast is we are so fan friendly. We have a lot of fans from other visiting markets shouting us out and stuff. So they really do like,
they're coming in now on YouTube.
The fact that we're so balanced on this show
right now.
We are so balanced on this show. Okay, we want to also remind you that it's Locked On NFL's mock draft live on April the 17th. That's at 4 o'clock Pacific time. And it is streaming on the Locked On Sports Today 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube or the free Amazon Fire TV channels app. And you can check that out, folks, as NFL draft is coming up. I was over visiting all of our good friends yesterday at the National Association of Broadcasters. You know what? One thing I can't do, I cannot work a convention. I don't know how people do that. I'm just like beat up, man. I really do need, I might be on LTIR after walking around a convention center for like 8 hours yesterday. I might just put myself there. Mark Stone returned to the ice for VGK on Friday. And now, how is he going to fit in? I like the heavy line. I really do like Hurdle centering him. And then I don't care, Stevenson, Durfave. I don't care who else is on that line. I just think there's unbelievable potential if you put Tomas Hurdle together with Mark Stone.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a lot of different ways to do that. Stevenson does a lot better. We've talked many times about Stevenson being at the center with Mark Stone on the wing and how that plays out, but that would literally shove William Karlsson down to a fourth line role, which I'm sure Tony
is there going to be a
absolutely
fifth
love.
line in the playoffs? Okay.
There might be an
I mean, the one thing I do have to say, with all that talent around him, he's got to score. There's so much talent on the ice.
Who's got to score?
Lars. I mean, he has
goals,
to score.
He's got 30 goals, Tony.
Yeah. What? 7, 8 empty netters. The second goal yesterday.
Fine. He's got 25 goals, Tony.
The second goal yesterday was almost a Colasar shot up to you in the rafters. He lost control of the puck, and that thing was flying. Just whatever.
His second goal?
Yeah.
His second goal did go off the toe of his stick, and that was he definitely knuckled that one in there. There was definitely some luck, no doubt about that. But he got in position, he got open, he got behind Nathan McKinnon, who immediately wanted to chirp the linesman for it being offside because he
it was offside. It was.
No, not by the way the rule
right,
works. No. You can skate backwards.
You promised us spiciness on the X yesterday, so I'm just trying to spice
You're
it
doing
up.
enough for both of us right now. You're doing enough for both of us right now. No, I mean, listen, where is Mark Stone going to line up? I think that's where we started this segment. And I don't mind the heavy line. I definitely do like that. That'd be a very tough line to play against when you still have the William Karlsson line below that. That would be really tough. I mean, honestly, Hurdle, Stone, Stevenson. I mean, that sounds
how
fun,
crazy would that be? That
Hurdle,
would be
Stone, Stevenson.
That's an exciting line that I'd like to see, truly.
And no, definitely. And then it also saves you, depending on health and a whole lot of things. You know, William Karlsson, Mantha. Then it could be Dorofeev on that wing. It could be. I mean, where's Amadio? What happened to Amadio? Like that's another good. That Amadio feels like he's either getting some rest, which I don't know why he's getting the vet treatments, or something is
right.
up there.
No, something's up there. Something's up there, but they're just preparing him because he's going to be a healthy scratch.
I don't understand
they continue with Cotter.
Trying to get Cotter.
Continue with
right
Cotter.
Now.
I don't get it. I'd much rather have Amadio than Cotter at this stage, truly.
Oh yeah, no, 1,000%. I mean, Cotter's role is still, in 2.5 seasons undefined with the Golden Knights. Is he going to be a skill player that could possibly score 15, 18 goals? Or is he going to be a heavy fourth line winger that maybe skates a little bit better than Colasar, 3-game point streak, Tony. 3-game point streak for
because he knows that his job's on the line right now.
It could be. I mean, I know people are pushing back
on the fourth line. Barbashev on the fourth line. If that's the way that's going to trend.
That Mantha going down that caused that to happen, but who knows? We'll see.
Okay, so the captain Mark Stone back on Friday for VGK as he participated in a non-contact jersey out since February the 20th when he had that collision with Yakov Trenin of the Predators, and he suffered, of course, Stone, the spleen injury, lacerated spleen. He did go deeper into the season than you and I even imagined because he played like 56
his health
games.
Was magnificent. He didn't miss a game until the spleen issue. 56
games there for him. I had 55.5, and I took the under.
I said 50. I said 50, and his back held up. Let's be clear. I joked with Mark Stone early in the season after the Kraken home opener because the team had been carrying the Stanley Cup everywhere they went for that week. And I said, hey, you've been carrying that cup around. How's your back? And great. Had 2 surgeries. Good to go. Just gave me an absolute, pissed off response, which is fine and whatever. But his back is good to go. And his back just got a 3-month rest. Also coming into the playoffs.
Of course.
So.
Yeah, the fans, the haters on Twitter and X are just fired up.
Let's be clear about one thing. I'll jump the gun on Tony here on this part, and this is what me and Chris also talked about on Saturday. The question that I have, the question that Tony has, the question that the rest of the NHL has, the question that Golden Knight fans also should ask: if Mark Stone plays Game 1 of the playoffs, why could he have not possibly played in Game 82 of the regular season? If he plays Game 82 of the regular season, of course, the Golden Knights are not a cap. I almost said Stanley Cap. Are not a salary cap compliance.
That's coming.
So that's the question that the NHL is going to ask, and the Dallas Stars GM is one who definitely is asking that question, and he's already laying the wood if laying the tracks if the Golden Knights and Stars do play in the first round. The Golden Knights knock the Stars out, and Mark Stone is out there. Oh boy.
So, yeah, I'm surprised that Stone's back really held up after carrying all those groceries to his car. he was like at every grocery store in the Valley taking those supermarket selfies too.
People
So he's
got to
back.
shop. Tony. People got to shop, but Tony takes that as a conspiracy theory. He got their supermarket sweeping it with those golden hams.
Golden. I was going to say golden yams, golden hams. You said hams. Friday seems like a long
Golden
time
ham.
ago.
Feels like a Twitter.
I have
Feels
no
like a
idea.
Twitter account.
That'll trend. That'll
golden
trend
hams.
today. Friday seems like a long time ago. The playoff clinching win over the Wild, 7-2. 7 different Golden Knight hams scored goals in that game, and Chandler Stevenson with the 4 assists, and Marc Andre Fleury. Just really sad to see him go out that way. Why don't they pull him? He gets a round of applause, standing O, shoves it into Foley's face, and VGK, TV and radio here on the state-run side, they just were very cautious about any kudos for Marc Andre Fleury.
I didn't watch the broadcast too closely. First and second period, me and the family were at lifeguard while the kids were skating, and I was just kind of hanging out. The third period, with about 12 minutes left, is when I actually turned the TV on and watched. And I was wondering, and again, if I'm wrong, someone can tell us, but I don't know if I heard any Fleury mentions on the TV broadcast. Now, I will say
very subtle.
I will say Tyler, who I forgot the gentleman's last name, but he's the quarterback, if you will, of the game day production team. If I'm wrong on that, fine. But point is, he's very highly involved in the on ice experience and the show that you see. He was definitely talking about him on his Twitter handle. So there's not some blackout where people are not allowed to talk about Marc Andre Fleury. He wouldn't have. So he was being very complimentary of Fleury and, pointing out how there were multiple Fleury chants. And I mean, maybe TV just kind of failed to catch that moment. Maybe is a better way to definitely say that.
You can hear it. It was
exactly.
starting to drown out everything.
And it was great. It was magnificent. Fleury deserves every bit of it. I'll say this again. The Golden Knights brand is not nearly as strong as what it is today if it's not for what Marc Andre Fleury did as just an outstanding citizen of Las Vegas, of Southern Nevada, of Clark County. He did so much for this team, just being a good dude. It was infectious. We talked about Tomas Hertl and what he's bringing to the team. It's very similar to what Marc Andre Fleury did, and just that brand building. And you cannot put a dollar. It's in the millions. It's in the millions what Marc Andre Fleury did for the Golden Knights brand. And it did. I felt terrible. I think it was the 6th goal when his helmet kind of popped off, but they let play continue, and Carlson got the goal, and there's just Fleury sitting there staring at his helmet, just upset, and the horn's going 6 times, and
another fluke goal. Another fluke goal.
He was in the right place at the right time. Whatever. I mean, point being is, Fleury is just an amazing human, and God, it would suck if that was his last game he ever plays, or definitely his last game at T-Mobile Arena. And I was wondering if there's going to be a handshake line after the game, people trying to talk. I don't know. And
he skated off.
After the game, but
he threw his stick, I think, or he was really pissed.
He threw the puck after the 6th goal. He just took the puck, he chucked it, and he was pissed. And it's not that he's mad about losing to the Golden Knights. I mean, in a playful manner, he is. But just, I think he's realized it's time. I think it might have hit him.
But as
defensemen,
they gave up. They were injured. A lot of players out of the lineup.
They gave up 3 weeks ago, Tony, when the Golden Knights beat him in overtime. Their season ended right then.
No. When they beat themselves in overtime.
Also fair.
Okay. Coming up next, like many of you out there in TV land and audio land, we are wondering about whose net will it be come playoff time. We'll talk about that. Is there a goalie battle in the works? We'll return right here. Oh, the drama. We'll return right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Fans, we want to remind you that you could win big by playing daily fantasy hockey on Sleeper, the official daily fantasy app of the Locked On NHL Network. Sleeper is our #1 choice for daily fantasy sports, and especially daily fantasy hockey. What does McKinnon have? 87 goals or something crazy? That's
probably.
Whatever. Yeah, something like that. Okay, so because of Sleeper, you can win 100 times your cash in daily fantasy hockey contest. What players would you take this week to win 100 times your money? Fans can also play daily fantasy NFL, NBA. We're going to talk about my Knickerbockers at some point. Major League Baseball, college football, and more on Sleeper. You can connect with a lot of the other fans, and entries can be made in under a minute. All you have to do is pick out some studs there and some VGK hams, if you will, and they need to record more or less than their sleeper projections for things like goals, assists, saves, plus minus, and much, much more in a given game. To win 100 times your bet on sleeper, you need to correctly select and predict the outcome of 8 player stats. You heard us, VGK fans. You can win 100 times your money playing daily fantasy hockey with Sleeper. So start paying attention and nail your picks so that you can start winning big. Use the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. You will get up to 100 times your match on your first deposit. Terms and conditions apply, and that is the promo code LOCKEDONNHL. See Sleeper's terms of use. Back on this Monday edition of Locked On Golden Knights from Las Vegas, Tony Cardasco, Chris Golick, new music reporting here. And I was out at VGK practice on Saturday. Why? Because there was like free food out there for the fan appreciation day or whatever was happening, right? All that. So I got one of those good burritos. Thank you so much. A little pink box going on. And then we did a little promo shoot with Chance the Raptor. And I was reminded several times, well, I didn't realize that he doesn't speak. So I brought the recorder and the microphone, and we did a promo for Vegas Thrill. So Wednesday night is Vegas Thrill night. No, it's VGK night at Vegas Thrill is what I meant to say. So I got a quick story, right? So I went to go buy, you know how much I really do adore those golden buckets, right? Those helmets that VGK wears. So for VGK night, I wanted to be authentic. And along with my Carlson jersey, I was going to wear a golden bucket. I was going to go buy a new Carlson jersey. As you know, last year, that whole saga, I gave mine away. So I go online, and it doesn't say that it wasn't like a life-size, like regular bucket. I'm like, $29. Remember when you were a kid, you could get those plastic, like Major League Baseball helmets, and wiffle ball kids used to crack them all the time by hitting you over the head with their bat. So I thought that that's what this was. And instead, it is a miniature golden bucket that now I'm going to give away, I think, in a contest for $29.99. And it's signed by Brendan Brisson. So that's my story. And if anyone knows where I could get like a plastic, regular sized bucket, gold bucket, please drop me a line there. Give me a note there.
Paint in Walmart, buddy. Paint in Walmart. That's the answer.
You think so? Like, just buy, what kind of helmet can you buy? Buy a regular hockey helmet.
Play it again. Okay, here you go. Play it against sports and paint it. Play it against sports. Buy a cheapie and go paint it. Go find a Jofa.
Good idea. I might do that. Could you imagine me showing up at VGK night for the thrill?
Show up at a VGK
with a golden bucket.
The fog is coming. The fog is coming.
The fog is coming. I'm the only person in Vegas that actually has fog, but it's authentic. At least it's.
You're the only person in Vegas that has a fog hype video.
I do have a fog hype video. Who are the golden hams? That's the best. Okay. Great Adin Hill's performance on Sunday against Colorado. Again, what is up with these odd angle goals? The Ross Colton goal, Hill was still sleeping. He should not have been. He should have been awake. Okay. VGK slept in their own beds, that night. It was reminiscent of LT giving up that Michael Carcone goal. Remember in the game in Arizona from the sharp angle?
Oh, God, that was terrible.
Well, you think this was better?
No, they're bad. I mean, listen, there's goalie issues. Let's be clear about this before I just give you the spoiler here, but there's definitely goalie issues with both goaltenders right now. Just really, really quickly as we're running long, as we always do. Adin Hill's last save percentage is 875, 800, 923 against Columbus, whatever. 800, 917 against the Flames, whatever. 867, 885, and then a 914 against Vancouver, going all the way back to March the 7th. Logan Thompson, looking at his recent games, 926 against Minnesota, but then he's 867 against Vancouver, 806 against Arizona, 900 against Vancouver, 970 against Minnesota, 975 Winnipeg, 969 St. Louis Blues. So That's the last 5 or 6 games for each goaltender. Put a poll out there before the game started yesterday. Who's the game 1 starter come Saturday or Sunday for the playoffs? And the choices were Hill is locked in, Thompson is locked in, Cassidy is still deciding.
What about Leonard is locked in?
Patera should have been on the poll, I think, honestly. So only 9% think Adin Hill's the game 1 starter. And I'm going to tell you right now, those 9%, those are the ones that are rights. 48% said Thompson's locked in. They're wrong. 42% Cassidy is still deciding. Maybe. But the Golden Knights want Adin Hill to be the game 1 starter. I don't have any direct knowledge besides what I've seen and what I've heard.
Does it come
Adin Hill starting
down?
game 1?
Does it come down again? He's like the guy that you paid all this money to.
Yes.
That has to be a consideration, right?
I pushed back, Tony, for 80 games at that theory. I pushed back. I'm not saying it's the right theory, but that's what's going to happen game 1, unless Adin Hill just plays like he did the last. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I think they're going every other game right now. There's 2 games left in the season. So tomorrow against Chicago, you're going to see Logan. Thursday against Anaheim, you're going to see Adin. I think that's how they're going to finish these. A couple of reasons as to why really fast. Logan Thompson still has yet to make consecutive starts when Adin Hill is healthy. You think all of a sudden that's going to flip game 1 of the playoffs? No, it's not. Both goalies have had their struggles. Logan's form is a little bit better. It's not a lot better. It's a little bit better than Adin Hill's form. And listen, I'm telling you what it's going to be. I'm not telling you what I think it should be. Logan should, I think, get the game 1 start. I really, really do. But neither goalie has really ran away with it. They're both playing very bad. Call it what it is. Logan's not playing as bad, but Logan has been playing bad, with the exception of a nice 4 or 5 game stretch right there. So they're going to hope the light goes on with Adin, just like the rest of the team. Sean Burke is going to advise highly that Adin's going to be the man game 1, and that's what's going to happen.
And if Adin
got the cup, all that. Go ahead.
Right. But if Adin does perform well in game 1, then they're just going to ride him, right? That's what they're going to do. I have a feeling.
But that's what you do in the playoffs. You don't run 2 goalies in the playoffs unless
they're not going to rotate the goalies.
One goalie is terrible. Rotating goalies in the playoffs is not good. And Cassidy himself, I'll dig it up. Cassidy himself mentioned early in the season that mixing up the goalies in the playoffs usually is not the way for anyone to do it. And you saw Boston falter doing that with Swayman and Ullmark in the first round. I mean, that's a lot of things why Boston didn't get out of the first round last year. But in the playoffs, you have 1 goalie. You have 1 goalie in the playoffs. That's it. If you have 2 goalies, you have no goalies.
We appreciate everyone tuning in.
Good finish there. I like that. That was good.
Thanks so much for tuning in on Locked On Golden VGK Hams, especially our everydayers. I don't understand Golden Hams.
Oh, I met someone. I forgot the gentleman's name. I'm sorry. You approached me and Christopher and Allie at the Silver Knights game. You said you're an everydayer. I forgot your name. I'm sorry. Me and my son Christopher were fighting over his slushie that he wouldn't give to me, and you caught me at a weird time right there. So I might have been a little quick with you, but the slushie was good. I'm sorry I was short with you, but thank you for stopping by to say hello to us at the Silver Knights game on Saturday.
Yes, thank you so much, Town Crier. We appreciate that.
He was absent on Saturday. It was great. Sorry.
LTIR. Thank you so much for tuning in. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Locked On Golden Knights. From a man, Chris Golick, I'm Tony Cardasco from Las Vegas. We'll see you again tomorrow right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Take care.